So now that I prepped and primed her eyes, we're going to go ahead into Juvia's Berries palette. Yes, yes, yes. So you see that beautiful pink? We're going to pack that on her upper eye lid. I'm going to start off just kind of putting that up above the crease area. Now I'm just going to start patting it in because we're going to pack that color because we're prepping for a cut crease. So the goal here is just to keep layering, just building. Go in lightly to kind of carve out that top and then start packing the color in. You go in light and then you pack because you're just layering. And you're just taking your time because it's important that you build. This is important to build. So I'm in my second color now, a darker pink. I'm going in between that lighter pink. Then I'm moving on to the darker, still in the light for now. The lighter pink rather. So we're really going to work this Berries palette from Juvia's Place. So now it's time to build with that second color I just showed you. Just build and we're packing it in there. Take your time, pack it in because you're going to need this to help cut that crease. You want to make things dark. And don't worry about too much about blending things out now because this is a cut crease. So this is about building the right colors, making the stark lines. So mostly the blending that I'm concentrating on is the top, the two top colors that I'm using. But below that, I'm not really concerned about it blending because that cut crease is going to come into play. So pack, 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 pack. Don't be scared. Cut crease takes a lot of time. Some people can zip through it. I just try to take my time and I'm still perfecting the cut crease. Now we're about to go into that third color. We're going to deepen that transition. Really blend that in and work it in. And when I say blend it in, I mean really pack it in because this is going to be what's going to make us or break us. Oh, that Berries palette is simply beautiful. The colors are so intense and rich and beautiful. I'm going in the top with that lighter pink that we started off with since I lost some color, but I'm trying to remember I said I want to keep that portion blended as much as possible. So of course we want to blend that top portion, but as we transition through the other colors, you know, we'll blend those, but don't worry too much about the colors below the crease because they're going to all have their role to play with this cut crease. So I am taking Makeup Revolution's Cut and Define And I think this is in C1. And it's similar to P. Louise. So if you have P. Louise, that's a good way to cut your crease. Some people cut crease with concealer. So I'm taking that base and I'm beginning to draw that sharp half moon type of. So you want to take your time and be detailed. You want to make it tacky. Just take your time. You want that line to be sharp. And on this first round, I'm just taking it low because not everybody likes a high cut crease. So I'm going to show you this low one, and then I'm going to start over and do a higher cut crease. But this will give you an idea if you want like a lower cut crease. And so we're ready to rock and roll almost. So I'm trying to make it dry and tacky to receive the next step, which will be the eyeshadow. And I'm going to start with my outer smoke out that with a darker purple, darker pink, purple looking color. So because I wanted the colors to really shine through or to pop, I did go and add a little NYX to my NYX white eyeshadow base, to that base, just in the center. Of course, I'm taking my time. This is something you don't want to rush. Of course, making sure it's tacky and ready to receive that eyeshadow. So we're going to start with that darker purple pink color. We're going to smoke out the edge of that V. We're just building. And I'm sorry my big head got in the way in my hair, but I had to really lean over to get over to see. So we're going to start layering that middle top pink. It's the middle fuchsia color in the top of the Berries palette in Juvia's Place. If you don't have Juvia's Place palettes, use what you have. And if you don't want this particular color, this is about placement. So if you have a palette with greens or blues, use that palette and just understand the placement. So it doesn't matter the color. So I'm going back in to smoke out and to blend those two colors that the first color that I started off with in the lower lid. So this is going to continuously blend, and I am going to go with a lighter color that is not in the Berries palette to open up that eye. So taking that Juvia's palette, I am going to, I believe that's the Warrior palette with all the golds, but it has a matte like off-white color. I'm going to take that and place it in the inner corner and first I'm just going to lightly, carefully, also carefully bring that in, and then I'm going to start patting. And while I'm patting, I'm going to blend with the pink. So I'm taking that pink and blend between the two. That off-white and that pink. So that gives you an idea of how the cut crease look. So you can keep a cut crease that low, but then we decided that we wanted to go higher. And so you're going to see me go higher and then go through this process again, but on a higher level. So one thing this should inspire you about makeup is makeup. This stuff, it can be washed off. Some things you can correct. This is something that we just decided it was nothing wrong with having a lower cut crease, but I wanted a higher cut crease because when you go higher, when you look straight ahead or when you look down, it's a better perspective. It gives it a better depth and a better look. But you can have a low cut crease, so it's nothing wrong with that. It's just something myself and the client that I was servicing on that day, and we wanted to give you all varied situations because this is a learning. We're doing this for virtual learning, so this is another process, and of course we're being careful with cutting that crease out. Once again, it's something that we don't rush, but so you can get a feel for what we do. And so I'm going to continue to make that tacky, everything that I did earlier. So I'm going to speed this part up. Now that you see the higher cut crease, you already know that I'm going to smoke that out like earlier. So I'm going to go fast forward with this part. So of course we want everything nicely blended. So I'm blending the colors in between the purple and the lighter off-white. And so we're at a good place with that. So we're going to use the marker-like eyeliner, and I'm sorry my head got in the way on this one as well, but we're going to take that and do a wing liner. This liner is going to be rather thick. We want a more defined eye. eyeliner look because of the look that we're doing. And I went in with a thin, very, very thin brush, and to make sure I have my sharp line. And that came out very nicely, just making sure I had that sharp cut crease. And so I'm going to continue with the eyeliner. But before I do that, I'm going to blend just a little bit, make sure that blend is nice. Looks good to me. We're going to continue with the eyeliner in just a moment. Just making sure I'm doing some very detailed work, because this is something you have to get right. And you can see the cut crease, and you can see the smoke out corner as well, the outer V. And now we're going deep into that liner and making sure it's nice and thick, that wing liner. I believe you can see it. So we have it straight across, and now I'm adding liquid liner on top of that because I want it to be really that black pronounced, like I said earlier, look. Trying to manipulate the hairs, the flyaways that she has from her hair. Just getting that thick liner. Letting it dry a little bit. Don't want to rush this. We want it to be right. While I'm letting some things dry, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure her brows is where it should be. And she was curious to know how the cut crease looked. So she's excited, she's pleased. She's ready to go now. She's encouraged because she's been so patient. And again, we wanted to give you all some options and to look at some things differently, and maybe help someone that's not familiar with this. And I'm learning. So we're going to go in with this palette, this Makeup Revolution palette. And I'm going to grab a highlight color out of there for under the brow bone. So I mixed some colors, and yeah, that's what I came up with. So we're going to blend that out really nicely. Blend, blend, blend. We don't want anything sharp. I'm going into the inner tear duct with the outer inner lid. If that makes sense. Outer inner lid, the inner lid on the top. So my apologies, my camera went dead, and so now I am filming with my iPhone. So we're going to go ahead and continue this look. Of course, this is the cut crease, the berries. I use Juvia's palette, but feel free to use what you have. So here is the eyelash. So this is how we glue the eyelash. I go along that strip. I use white for the purpose of this video, which is clear. It's going to turn clear. I usually use black or the clear version. I rarely use the white where it stays white, but if I get the white, I'll make sure it's the kind that turns to the clear. So we're going to wait till that lash get tacky. So I'm using Makeup Revolution's powder in banana. So that's where I have under her eyes. I also suggest Juvia's with her complexion. I think it's calamari. I could basically be murdering that name, but that's something I use as well. So that eyelash has gotten nice and tacky. So I'm going to apply the lash. And it's okay to use your tools, like if you have the lash clamper or tweezers. Make sure you know you can use the soft part of the, not the soft part, I'm sorry, but the rounded part of the tweezers, and you can press down and get really close to the lash line. And of course, with the tweezers, I'm setting that in place. And then with the rounded end, I'm gently pushing the lash close to her eye lashes. Make sure they're pushed really nice and tight there. And so you also want to make sure the inner and outer portion in the center is snug. Of course, you want to make sure the whole entire lash is snug, but you really, those can be some trouble spots. So I'm just blending in that powder with a slightly damp sponge. You don't want it wringing wet. You want to just have a damp sponge. You want to squeeze any excess of the water out. And now I'm just going in and blend, blend, blend. I'm tapping. I'm not doing any dragging. We don't drag. So I'm going into Makeup Revolution's palette. So we're going to give her that glow with those two colors. Yes, yes. So we're going to take Juvia's Saharan palette. It's the blush palette. Going to take that richer pink. Of course, since this is like a berries fuchsia, it's like a light fuchsia, not really a deep fuchsia. Taking Juvia's Warrior palette, it has the golds. I'm going to use the gold even to highlight around and contour. It's a matte golden color, brown, and so I'm going to contour her with that. And remember, this is all pigments. If some of these pigments can be used around the eyes, they certainly can be used to contour the face as well. It's just pigment. If it's safe around the eyes, it's certainly going to be safe around the face. So just contouring her, and of course making sure everything is blended out, you know, doing another check of her makeup. So it's time to add that fuchsia berry kind of a lipstick. It's got some pink to it. And so we're going to pinkish purple looking. So we're going to place it on her lips. And it's also a matte color. It's a metallic matte. I'm not sure if the camera is giving it justice, but it really was a fascinating color on her. She got so excited. So she's loving it. She's loving it. And so you can stop right here, but I'm going to add glitter. This is another look. I'm transitioning to another look. You could have stopped with the look that we already had, but if you want to go a extra step and add glitter, so you know, you can get the NYX pigment glitter adhesive and then add glitter. I bought a 2-in-1. The eyeshadow is pretty good. It's you know, it's new to me, this particular palette, so I was really going on a whim to try it, but I had tested it out on my hand, but you know, I just wanted to make sure it would work nicely on a client's face, and so she was super excited. And then I'm going to go and add even some in the inner bottom and the outer bottom, adding glitter, and so that gives that extra or that extra glow for the holiday glam. Not sure if you can really see it, but I'm really working that in under her eye. And make sure whatever you buy, of course, glitter that is meant for the eyes. Lightly dusting away any fallout. She is posing. She loves it. Going in the inner top corner to give it that glam in the tear duct. So any excess that may fall out, of course you want to make sure you clean that up. And if you want to go further, you can even add glitter on the lips. So I'm blending out those colors, making sure that we hadn't lost any colors in this cut crease. She is loving it. And I'm going to also go back in that Makeup Revolution palette, because on the other side I had placed that highlight on one side of the eye. So I'm going to also go in and put the highlight color on the other side, on the other eye. Of course, we want both eyes to match. And there you see the glitter giving that extra pow. And so I did use a fuchsia glitter with some gold reflectives, and I think they had a little purple reflectives too, so she was truly excited about this look. Just want to make sure everything is sealed nicely in case she drinks anything or have a long night. So my model, Rayneisha Payton, was excellent. She allowed me to do all of these looks to bring to you this opportunity to share some glam looks. And of course, we're just going to top everything off with mascara. We're going to merge the two, her natural eyelashes as well as the falsies. So we're going to blend the two with mascara. So we're also going to, of course, get her bottom lashes. Okay, let me take pictures. And
I probably did a million poses in that one video.
what now?
I probably did a million poses in that one video.